My journey was one that I hadn't planned. I hadn't planned for the life that I have experienced, but I wouldn't change much about it. A couple of things I changed, but not much. But the journey has been a wonderful one. We cannot leave the forward movement of our young to people outside of our community. We need allies, we need all hands on deck. But I believe it's those of us who come from that community, those of us who are of that community, we must be in leadership. We're dedicated to breaking the cycle of intergenerational Black poverty. That's the overarching mission of the National Cares Mentoring Movement. And we see that we can do that through group mentoring framework. The one-to-one mentoring is absolutely a wonderful thing to have. But when the mentor doesn't show up, the young person is devastated. And people, adults, we have lives that are interrupted. But when it's group mentoring and you have a circle of adults around a much larger circle of young people, everyone gets to know one another and trust is built. And if a couple of adults don't show up and the others are there, the process can continue. In 58 cities, what we are doing is we are recruiting mentors, able, stable folk who we want to just be involved with our young ones, and we are deploying them. We deploy them to mentoring organizations that have a very hard time recruiting African Americans. So much of the sadness that young people are hosting today has to do with the way they are treated by other young people, the way that they are discounted maybe by teachers in some environments. And it moves well beyond social, and economic classes. It's pervasive. But parents have to be wise enough to listen and to know that therapy is needed, because you don't want to have to be planning a funeral when you could be taking your young one to a therapy session. We know that growing up in poverty is hard. And, growing up sleeping in a shelter, growing up and not knowing if you're going to have breakfast in the morning, not being nourished, not feeling well cared for, being marginalized in schools where you have teachers maybe who are overwhelmed, parents who are overwhelmed, a community that is overwhelmed, facing violence, figuring out which way you're going to walk home from school. Our young people are under so much pressure. We add to that social media. The pressure from social media is beyond. And so these are the things that have really caused so many young people to give up hope. We don't let young people know that not every day is going to be a joyful one. Life will bring you laughter and tears, joy, sorrows, there's loss, but you can recover. So that's very much what we do. Ours is really teaching critical thinking and helping young people to know that they really can be their own best friend and solve the sadness that we all host at some time in our lives.